joyous time zones, my Sakonauts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as the Witch of Tylwyth Teg, and welcome to the Monday morning witchy hour. Today we're going to talk about self-care before the holidays and how it relates to magic. And here is my opening, which is way too long. I need to redo that. I really do. If we haven't met before, I'd like to welcome you back? I'm sorry, my script is weird. If we haven't met before, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. It is very nice to meet you. If you've been here before, it's so lovely to see you back. I super love you guys. I'd like to start this morning with a grounding ritual to start your day. This starts near your domain, so if you've not created a domain, you might want to sign up for my newsletter, which is linked in the description below. Sit with your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. Sorry, I lost my place. And as you let it out completely through your mouth, let go of the tension from the night and the grogginess of the morning. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in pure love. And as you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out forgiveness. Take a third deep breath in, and as you do so, imagine a light coming in at the top of your head. It enters at the top of your head and spreads down over your neck, face, neck, and shoulders. This cleansing light now expands along your back, down your legs, and out through your feet. It is as if cleansing light is a constant flow of soothing energy entering from your head and passing out through the arches of your feet. You are just outside the door of your domain. The air is crisp and cool. The evergreens sway slightly in the breeze, and the ground has a large patch of moss at your feet. Step barefoot onto the moss. Feel how soft it is. Feel the solid ground underneath. That light coming into your head can now be translated into energy that you can send out your feet. Convert the light into roots and send the roots out the bottoms of your feet and deep into the earth, as deep as you can. The soil is fresh, easy to toil, easy to carve a path down. Feel how anchored you are, how close to the earth. Reach down as far as you can. The earth hugs your roots comfortably, no matter how sharp or curly, no matter how many times they split off. Slowly pull the roots back up the way they came. Your roots slither through the dark, the soil filling in its wake. Pull the roots back into your feet, convert it back to the light, and let the light filter through you and out the top of your head. Take one more deep breath in and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we just did our grounding ritual. I also have a surprise for you guys. Ta-da! I have the Witch of Quill Cottage. Woo! Sorry, water. Did your sound just cut out? Oh, you're still muted.
Yeah, I said everybody hydrate right now, but now the moment has passed, and sorry, you're just gonna have to be parched until the next time we need coffee or water.
Hi, Billy. Hi, Debbie. So good to see you guys. Next, we usually pull this week's card from the Celtic Tarot by Courtney Davis. And I don't think I'm going to use the book because the book is kind of bullshit. So what's our week look like? Ace of Coins. So the Ace of Coins is like a new enterprise, some kind of way to make money, some kind of like a new job maybe, or just coming into money in some manner. At least that's what I remember from it. I don't know if Nicole here, do you do tarot?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about the Ace of Coins?
Yeah, actually, I think it's kind of interesting because coins, pentacles, whichever your deck deals with, is basically, beginning of resources. Like you're at the beginning of a journey that's going to process through resources. And it's weird because that's really relevant to what we're talking about today with self-care, because self-care is a practice that is very much so a coin practice where you're rejuvenating your own resources. So it's a good sign.
It's a good sign. Cool. I can also do some qualifiers. The Seven of Swords. So being brave and being, what's the word? Because I don't think, so maybe your resources are being depleted, especially during NaNoWriMo, right? And then the Three of Coins.
We've progressed.
We've
just
progressed.
that fast.
So I'm going to come in close so you can see some of the detail work she did. So the Three of Coins is, I don't know, what do you think, Nicole?
I think that given the other card with the Seven of Swords, swords being the suit of truth, the truth, I would say that's a sign that you got to be honest with yourself about where you are, what you need, what you can handle. We have a tendency to just push so hard because of the society that we live in, where our productivity is often seen as our worth.
Yeah.
And it's a very quick way to run ourselves down. Burnout is a whole different kind of epidemic that is happening in American society. And I would say that it's that the three cards together are a sign that you need to be honest with yourself about what you need to regain your resources. Don't butterscotch, don't bullshit what you need. Don't keep pressing on, don't keep trying to hang on in the face of adversity. If you need a break, take the break so that you can then go to the next level. You know, you can't pour from an empty cup. I'll probably say that 100 times in this stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for real. Also, this is the back of the card. I have a
It is
thing
so
for
pretty.
I have things for Pictish puppies, which is like, you know, the Celtic dogs. And because my mother, she made a tunic for me when I was young, and she did Pictish puppies along the neck trim. And in period, as the child grew, you would cut out the trim that you made, the embroidery, and then you could apply it to a new tunic that would actually fit the, you know, the growing child. So I even now have a tunic with the neck on it, which is super cool. I might use it for like witchy stuff, you know, because I don't do a lot of medieval reenactment anymore. It would be cool. Okay, I will write down what we, because I got this this like tarot tracker sort of journal from Jules, from the Dawdling Writer. It's mostly just tracking the kind of readings that you do, and like who the querent is, and like what the energy levels were like, and like all of that like wacky stuff. So, which I think is super cool. Also, Billy says that that is like dead on. So the first thing I think we should talk about is the guilt that comes with toxic productivity. Another stereotype of self-care is of someone lazily lounging on a sofa, eating chocolate and ignoring chores. This stereotype is harmful in that it suggests taking a few minutes to yourself between tasks is letting an unspecified everyone down in some way. It implies that if you're not wholly immersed in handling things, you are failing somehow. This is one of the most harmful stereotypes associated with self-care, because you are being told that you aren't taking things seriously enough if you aren't working for the benefit of someone other than yourself. It tells you that if you take a moment or two for yourself, you should feel guilty. While it can be therapeutic to put something off, procrastination or ignoring a problem isn't self-care. In fact, it's the opposite. Ignoring a problem just makes it more of a problem. Self-care involves scheduling things so that they don't reach a problem status, and includes being kind to your future self by not leaving her a mess to handle. Past Sako often takes care of future Sako. So I'm trying to like utilize that to create new habits, and so far so good. My family is ecstatic. Because like if you consider taking care of your environment as part of self-care, then I'm doing self-care when I'm doing the dishes or vacuuming the rug or taking care of the cat box, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's it. That's relevant to my thread of magic, because I, you know, my cottage, my house, my home is my base. That is my sanctuary. This whole place is my altar. So everything that I'm doing is that extension of myself. It is that element of even the most mundane things, like cleaning the cat box and um, vacuuming, doing the dishes, putting clothes away instead of just jamming them in a drawer. And, you
Right.
know, it's all an element of self-care in taking care of your own peace of mind, your own psyche. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, for sure. I too have made my house a sanctum, and I've got 2 temples, like 2 altars that I have in the house, one for my blanket fort, which becomes a temple, and then one in my bedroom, which has a shrine to Hecate. So, and also has a guardian that protects my bedroom. So, one thing we got to do is release that guilt.
Yes.
So often we carry around our guilt and let it fester within us. This is not healthy. Releasing guilt can be very helpful in learning to prioritize self care. Use the following ritual, blah, 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 to let go of some of your guilt and allow yourself to feel the burden of lifting it up, of it lifting away from you. What do they want you to do? Center and ground. Cast a circle if you want one. Sit with eyes closed. Think about your sense of guilt. What is it related to? What triggers it? Can you pinpoint what you feel guilty for? There may be associated feelings such as resentment, sadness, shame, or anger. When you're ready, write these things on paper. Fold the paper in half so that it'll fit in whatever your heat-proof container might be. I use a cauldron, like a little cauldron, but you can use anything, like any kind of cast iron, or I don't know, what else would you use as a heat proof?
Just like a pot, just a metal pot. Like if
Yeah,
you burnt popcorn 5 too many times and you can't use it for food anymore, you can repurpose it for magic.
right on. So they want you to actually verbally say that you release your guilt to the universe and invite peace to take its place. And then burn the list and allow the incense and the candle to burn out. As far as like removing your effects, your ingredients, after you are done with the ritual, there are 2 ways to do it from what I understand. I wouldn't just throw it in the trash unless you have like a full-on sanctum like me and Nicole, right? Sometimes I will still like go to the woods or go to a creek or something, throw it into the, it's ash, right? So
Yeah.
I throw it into the woods or I throw it into the stream so it can wash away. And you turn around and you walk away and you don't look back.
Yeah, you
So,
definitely don't want to keep it on your property. Like one of the things that people recommend, the remnants of spells, is to, when you're done with it, then take it and bury it in the backyard or things. I can't do that because it
I
doesn't
can't do
get
that.
it out of my space. So it's a matter of going someplace else, chucking it, letting nature do what nature does, and then coming back and knowing that it's past.
Right on. So, let's see, Hygge as self-care. We're coming to a time where Hygge becomes really popular, really. So what Hygge is that Swedish concept of comfort during winter. So sweaters and slippers and chocolates and fire and
Candles, lots and
candles.
lots and lots of candles, many candles, baked goods, lots of like sweets, And it's a feeling. It's weird because hookah's like a
The feeling of
um
security and coziness.
yeah, like because there's no direct translation, but coziness is the next thing. But it involves like other people and sitting around with other people and having things be calm and quiet and playing board games or just chilling together and talking. Um I don't know how
It
Cards Against Humanity could be considered chill, but that sort of thing. The laughter and the happiness is important.
is important. It's an important aspect.
Yeah.
It rests on the idea of slow moving, low stress, low commercial consumption life.
Yep. Except for candles.
Except for candles.
All the candles. In fact, actually, a few years ago, there was an issue um, in Denmark, where hookah comes from, where people were burning so many candles they were starting to get sick from all the soot in
Oh,
the air. So they were trying to figure out, like, is it still hookah-ish if we use battery operated candles? I'm here to tell you the answer is yes, because I can still make a really hookah-ish environment with all my battery operated candles, because I'm allergic to burning candles. So I
I
can't have
bet.
my house be full of them.
Have you considered the concept that maybe it might have to do with the soy base in a lot of
Yes.
candles?
A
Like
lot of people have,
breathing that, if you're allergic to soy and you breathe in like smoke from like a Yankee candle or whatever,
Mhm.
like it can really wreck your day.
Yes. I have tried using, as people have said, maybe you should just use soy. So I'll get soy candles and try that. It doesn't help. Maybe don't
Maybe
use soy, and then
bees,
I'll get different candles and it
maybe
doesn't.
beeswax or
It's still,
something.
it has something to do with just the
The,
the byproduct, what comes out into the air. It's annoying. I'll still burn candles. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just understand that I have to have a box of tissues beside me when I do and keep my
oh, I
inhaler
see.
close. But they will pry my candles from my cold dead fingers because I don't care if I'm allergic. I need my hookah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. What are some ways that we can actually do self-care that isn't like avoidant, right? We talked about the concept of like taking care of our environment as part of our self-care practice. But um, so the way that I do magic as a whole is very self-care centric, and sometimes I need to like really examine why I'm doing that spell. Like, am I just doing it for the self-care, or am I actually like, do I really want to do this spell? So I go to my domain, which is kind of like your private Idaho,
yeah.
and I have a garden and a room, like a cabin sort of thing in the side of a cliff, and a forest. So in my garden, I have a tub that I like. A lot of times, in this reality, I will get in the tub covered in sigils, and so the water washing off the sigil activates it. And usually the kind of sigils I use have to do with a spell that I'm casting.
Hmm.
So, for instance, not too long ago, I did a spell for Mars to release the police. That was painted in body paint on my arm and was activated in the bath. But
Bath is probably my absolute favorite. Unfortunately, I have to let the dog out for a second. I'll be right back. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, so if you find comfort in water, which I don't, right? But I find comfort in heat, so I make my bath like super hot. Hi, Daya. And some people do bubble baths. Some people do salt baths, or you can do witchcraft in that you make a satchel, like a tea, right? Like you can put lavender or bergamot, which is like the primary ingredient in gray, gray tea. But you make a satchel and you hang it on the tub, and then as the hot water passes through the satchel, it makes a tea out of your bath.
Out of your
Another
bath,
way
yeah.
Another way that you can use the bath in spell work is if you are breaking a curse, you can take a pot of coffee. I have a Keurig, so I would just have to like take a teapot and put it under the Keurig. But like, you take a pot of coffee and you pour it into the bath. Take the bath as you normally would, and that is one of the things you can do to break a curse if it has been laid upon you.
Yeah. Like I started to say, baths are my absolute favorite way of doing self-care, but mixing self-care and magic together. For some reason, it never ever fails that when you mention bath, somebody somewhere says it's just stewing in your own filth. Like I can quote that. It's always those exact words. And I'm like, who in the history said that? Before you get in the bath, all that filth is on you anyway. Like, so maybe you should be managing how dirty you get. I'm just saying. But I am very pro bath. If you have a bath, if you don't have a bath, get like a Rubbermaid tote and just fill it with some water and stick your feet in it because it's still something. You know, use your dishwater to like soak your hands and have the exact same thing. But it's that element where you can mix the two because you can get in the water and you can make that tea like you mentioned, to have the herbs and the salts and the different things in the water for different reasons. But then, so you've got water and then you've got earth for those things. If you line your bathtub with candles, or just put them in there in battery operated candles, keep them away from the water, don't electrocute yourself. Like then you've got that added element there. And I don't know, maybe you have like a fan or incense if you want to have like some incense burning. Then you
I
bring
use
that.
scented candles, so I feel like it's a little much to add incense, unless I'm
Yeah,
doing God work, in which case I'll use incense to as an offering to said God.
yeah. It's all just that element. I mean, and it could just be as simple as you're soaking in the water and just appreciating the warmth and letting the warmth do what that does. And then just you're envisioning the stress and the everything that sucks leaving your body and going into the water. You get out, towel off, it's all left in the bath water. You drain the bath and voila, there's your magic. It's left your house. It's left your body. It Baths are bathing is such a fantastic way to mix magic and self-care. But even on top of that, just drinking a cup of tea and then brewing it mindfully, drinking it mindfully, and then having that in your brain, having your intention set that I'm going to take 20 minutes and drink this cup of tea and I'm going to taste every sip. I'm going to find every ingredient in it. I'm going to smell it. I'm going to locate how it smells. What does it remind me of? How do I feel? when you take the time to just, like, I'm talking with my hands, I'm sorry. When
It's
you
okay.
when you take that time to just kind of check in with yourself, sometimes that's all the self-care you need, is just to remember that you are not an NPC in your own life. You are like
Main
you
character.
are, yeah, you are the person who experiences everything you experience. It's not somebody else doing that and you're not just witnessing it. You are you, which sounds so duh, but it's so easy to forget that when you're so focused on how do I do this for my job? How do I do that for, like, these people? How do I make money for my company? And that's what's really sad. Sako escaped, and that leaves me here to keep talking. Hi everybody, how you doing? I can't see the chat, I'm sorry, so I hope everyone's doing well. Baths though, right? Tea, baths. All right, let's see, let's think. What are some other things? Sex. Sex is really good self-care. I'll wait for Sako to get back before we talk about all that. But good meals, making yourself a really healthy meal. As you can tell, I'm a cottage witch, so of course it's very much so my niche to be cooking and things like that. But to just be cooking healthy food or even unhealthy food, but to be doing it mindfully with the fact that, yeah, this has got buttloads of sugar in it, but it's going to taste good, which is going to feel good. And then that's going to be a recharge for yourself. I think there's a fine line between self-care and hedonism, perhaps. Sako has left us. My dog is barking in the background. My apologies if you can hear that. Is she back?
I'm
She's
here.
back. Okay, now I have to go. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, so what were we saying about journaling? I think journaling is an excellent form of self-care. I kind of use journaling as a form of meditation and a form of reflection. So it is a ritual in and of itself. And so I will light a candle that has a smell that I like very much. Then I'll get a witchy tea, which depending on the purpose that I'm doing, it will depend on, it will determine like what kind of tea I'm drinking. And then I will journal. And I have a book of mirrors, which is kind of like a book of shadows, but it's very scientific. And by journaling before and then after a ritual, what is up with my internet? I don't understand. Because I'm very scientific about my magic, I will journal beforehand with all my research and all my intentions, any sketches I did for the sigils, stuff like that, shopping list, whatever. And then I will do the ritual. Sometimes just the act of, doing the journaling is the ritual, depending. And then afterward, I will talk about like the effect, how I actually executed the ritual, any kind of reflection I might have on what occurred to me after the spell, which I always reflect.
Yeah, I think, and even in a more mundane way, journaling is still magical because, like, oh, what is that woman's name? Of course, I'm going to draw a blank. I know it. It's just not coming to me. The woman who started the morning pages.
Oh, right on. I can't remember her name either.
Julia Cameron. Bam,
Okay.
got it. So her morning pages. There are a lot of people who are like, okay, so I'm supposed to just write 3 pages freehand and never stop writing. But what do I do when I stop having like a thought? Well, you're supposed to keep writing. I'm supposed to keep writing. I'm supposed to keep writing. I'm supposed to keep writing. And they're like, well, that's just a waste of ink and time, but it's not.
But
It's a
it's not.
thing that keeps your brain focused on what you're doing. It's a way to help out with monkey mind. And even if all you have is 3 pages of I'm supposed to keep writing, eventually it's going to start unlocking stuff. And that's kind of where, like, morning pages are really great for shadow work, for doing like shadow journaling, essentially, because when you can get past that part where you're supposed to, like, I'm supposed to keep writing, that's the block. That right there, that space where you can't think of anything to say, is actually, it's not a vacant space, it's a huge block. And that's what you're working to get past. So in that regard, just having just a blank notebook that you just stream of consciousness write is very therapeutic in a way of being self-care, especially when you're doing shadow work, when you really, really need the self-care. Because I mean, you can't have shadow work without self-care simultaneously. It will
It
wear
will
you
wreck
down.
you.
Absolutely, because you're going into the things that you purposefully stowed away and you're exploring it. There's a reason you stowed it away, but you do have to go back and explore and come to terms with whatever is in there. Um, and that's the most important time to be gentle with yourself, because
Oh, for
like
sure.
that's not an enjoyable process. So journaling, absolutely. Another thing that I mentioned while you were gone, Sako, was sex.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Really great self-care. Um, whether you guys are by yourself, whether you're by yourself, whether you're with a partner, several partners, no judgments here. Um, that release is a very great magical moment if you put the magical intent to it. And that is another case of you just wad up everything that sucks. And then at the point of climax, the crux, you just let it go into the atmosphere and it's gone.
So,
And then you
so
just
with
enjoy the
sex, so with sex magic, um, there's a couple of points that I want to make. Consent is key. Your
yes.
partner should know that you are doing magic work as you are engaging in, sexual
Yeah.
acts.
Yep.
So they are helping you in a ritual. You should include them in the plan.
Because their energy is inevitably, because of the act, going to be mingled with yours. And it might cost them some energy. You know, they may feel a little drained afterwards and not really understand why. And it's just because you do kind of have to take some of their energy and use that as a boost for your own release. And so, yeah, definitely have that discussion with your partner. And if you're, in the room closet with whoever you're doing the acts with, um, find a way to explain it in a boring way and just be like, man, I need this a lot. I just really need to let this go. Let's do this. And
For sure.
just
There's also the so to activate a sigil, one of the ways you can do that is by orgasm,
mhm.
right? So masturbation is totally a
Yep.
viable way to activate a sigil or let go of stuff,
Yep.
right?
Because I mean,
So
what is orgasm except like exact proof that magic is real? You know what I mean? It's all the chemicals, all the things that are happening within your body. They are certain triggers are being tripped. Is that not magic just without the explanation scientifically? You're just tripping triggers to make a thing happen and then poof, it happens. And, there's like happiness and angels and flowers or, whatever you get into. But yeah, Billy is
I
asking about keeping track of dreams. I do not keep track of my dreams because Usually I forget them like as soon as I wake
Same.
up. I don't even have the
Yeah.
chance to like roll over and write it down. I'm just like, the thought of I
It
have to
just
write
flees.
this
I can
down.
feel it fleeting away.
Yes.
I
Yes.
used to write my dreams all the time. What I do is I look for patterns, I look for recurring dreams, and I wonder if there is a problem that I haven't solved yet,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So then I go into shadow work, and hopefully whatever kind of shadow work I do will bring that problem to the forefront, and I
Yeah.
can process it.
Yeah. Like, for example, my recurring dreams involve housing, like having a place to live and looking for a place to live, not having a house. And it involves like places I've lived in the past. Um, Cat crossing, sorry. It involves, just different things like that, it occurs to me that I have some kind of shelter, home, comfort, something that I need to be working on. And I still haven't located it to the point where like I
It's worked
haven't
its
fixed
way
it,
into your
obviously. Yeah, because I
subconscious.
still have
Yeah.
the dreams, but like it's happened enough. Like I've been doing this for years now to where
Hmm.
I didn't really need to write it down to realize there was like a loop happening because I go to sleep, I don't have a home. Like, and I wake up and then I have a home and it's like, yes, this place. And I clearly have something I have to work out, but
Yeah, I got you. So Dia, I mean, I could go on and on about hypnagogia and like all of that stuff. Actually, Laura Nettles, most of you in the audience are writers. Laura Nettles admitted during a stream that she uses hypnagogia to come up with her ideas. And what that is it's that space between wake and sleep. So you grab a notebook, grab a timer. I use my phone and set it for 10 minutes because it takes me about 10 minutes to fall asleep. And then I lay down to go to sleep. And when the timer goes off, I'm, that like super groggy, like, God damn it, I was just falling asleep. Sort
yes.
of like cloudy feeling. You still have some residue from the dream, and if you sometimes when I write down my hypnagogic stuff, it makes no sense whatsoever, right? But sometimes I will actually get a narrative. Sometimes I will actually get like a story out of it.
Yeah. Or sometimes what you write down probably isn't even relevant yet. And then in the future, you're like, yeah, that
Ah.
thing. I get it now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dia is also a journaler, a dream journaler.
Hmm.
Hi, Heather. So good to see you. It's an honor. She hates it when it's a good dream and she can't remember what it is. Have a dream unless I'm on Valium, and then I will have lovely dreams. But like if when I take a nap, like it's usually so sleep magic and stuff like that. I could go on for days about. I could do a whole hour regarding sleep and magic, but you just know it was good. Yeah, and any details just kind of gone into the ether. Oh, I do that too. I didn't realize it had a name. Yeah, that's the scientific name. It's hypnagogia. Albert Einstein used it. Ernest Hemingway used it. They came up with their epiphanies and whatnot in hypnagogic state. Yay! Teaching something new. I feel that having one's mind sorted out and clear helps to have a clear and understanding and useful dreams. Oftentimes, I went through for about a year. So I drew a big sigil and I put it under my bed to ward nightmares, and coffee can ward nightmares as well. So I threw some coffee beans onto the sigil. Now the problem is coffee is also time magic. So while I was sleeping, I was living a whole separate life. And like I would, in a single night, it would be anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 years of content. And so I would wake up feeling older and wiser and kind of exhausted because I was awake and living this alternate life, and was stressful, right? Because it had life's little stresses and stuff like that. But in general, it was just being. And I consulted a fellow witch who specializes in time magic, and she was like, "It's the coffee. Take the coffee beans off of the sigil, and you'll be fine." And I did, and the dream stopped.
Yeah, that's one of the. I love amethyst in
Amethyst.
like dream pillows. Just like a little piece of amethyst in it. But evidently it has the same effect. It causes your dreams to be very
lucid.
Yeah, well, I'm a lucid dreamer anyway, but it's like then it's too lucid to where you do wake up and you're like, what was that? Like, where did that come from? Where did it go? And it's like so I mean I have to be careful when I make dream pillows now because it's a little bit too potent and a little bit too much like, okay, now I'm like traveling through space and time. I'm like in another dimension at this point and I just wanted to sleep.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Amethyst in your pillow can I would use black tourmaline personally because you are vulnerable when in this reality when you sleep. So black tourmaline is psychic protection.
Yes.
That way entities that are kind of like, swarming around your room or swarming around you while you are dreaming, black tourmaline will kind of ward them off.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely. And the other things that I tend to put in dream pillows are psychic kicks in the pants to try to help guide if you are intentionally looking for that. I'm struggling with the words. If you're trying to do that, not transmutation, what is the word? If you're attempting to do like astral projection and things along those lines, the cat again, then yeah, that's the kind you need that protection because when you're like flying out into other spaces, it doesn't matter if you like super warded your house. Like you just left. Like you're someplace else now. And if you don't know where you're going, you can't properly prepare for what's coming at you. That's why, stuff like that in dream pillows may seem like an overkill, but that's exactly what it's there for is like God only knows where you're going. Like who knows where you're going? Who knows what's going to happen when you get there if you're not skilled enough to direct yourself. So you have to protect yourself. I mean, protection is so important when you're a witch. Like, period.
Protection is so...
Yeah. Because the more magic that you do, the more you get involved with, the more that's going to like pick up on the scent of your magic and be like, oh, look, a target. And so,
And she,
self-care.
Billy uses hematite, which
Yep.
kind of like keeps you from wandering around while you're in your dreams, which,
Yep.
you know, like understanding consent and understanding crossing boundaries and understanding what can happen when you are entering other people's dreams. I definitely understand why the hematite. I definitely understand not wanting to cross that line with anybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's open the book in the middle. Sleepy stuff, spiritual self-care.
I just want to, while you're doing that, the writer of this book, Erin Murphy Hiscock, I love her. She's specifically,
I love her books.
Specifically
Oh my
is
God.
Wiccan. She will say she is Wiccan, but she writes her books in a way that it's not beating you over the head with Wiccan. If you're not a Wiccan, you can still get so much out of her books because she's great about staying close to the witchcraft itself as opposed to the mythos of Wicca and the not dogma, that's not the right word. I'm bad at words today, just ignore me.
It's okay. Naps and alternatives to sleep, basically. As with many other self-care tips, recommending naps often assumes you have the time and space in which to have them. There is a lot of discussion about how a nap can actually make you more productive, how a brief snooze can revive you and help you with mental clarity. Well, it doesn't always work. If you struggle with anxiety or sleep problems, trying to nap can be excruciating. Fortunately, there are alternatives. Recent research has shown that even lying down for 20 minutes can have similar benefits to an actual nap, which is excellent news for those who have trouble falling asleep. I don't have trouble falling asleep anymore. I have learned over the years how to fall asleep. That is not a good sound. My cat just knocked something down the stairs and I don't know what it is. So I sometimes I will just lay down on the couch and flip through TikTok for like 20 minutes and it will feel like I took a nap. Like I feel rested. And then I'll get up revived and do the things that I need to do.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's just that little bit of dissociation to just get outside of your own head and to just allow yourself to be entertained for a little bit is enough to come back and be like, oh, okay, well, now I can tackle this thing because I took a break from thinking.
So meditation, right? Which is sort of what I'm doing when I'm flipping through TikTok. People often glibly say you should meditate when you mention that you're stressed out. It's frustrating to have it prescribed. It's like being told that drinking water will make things better. Of course it will on a basic level. But how do you approach meditation to make it valuable as self-care? And who has time to do all that anyway? Meditation can be daunting to begin with because your new highlighted awareness makes you notice everything that derails you. And that's okay. No one's hating you. There's a reason people practice meditation. It's an ongoing thing. You don't master it and then stop. Some formal types of meditation call for specific positions and mantras, which can be hard work. So I was raised Buddhist. I'm third generation. And we meditate by chanting in front of a shrine, in front of a piece of paper that has like the teachings of enlightenment written down in Japanese. And we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Sometimes you'll have an epiphany 5 minutes in, sometimes it'll take 2 hours. But like, we generally spend about 15 minutes a day or a session, because we do it in the morning and in the evening. But 15 minutes or so, you know, if you feel like doing more, great, do more. But 15 minutes minimum. And that's how, you know, Soka Gakkai Buddhists meditate. You don't always need a mantra, but, you know, there's also the you know, like trying to do sound therapy on yourself, which, you know, like, I suppose the sound therapy is part of it, right? But it's not something I often do. Not anymore.
Yeah. For me, with meditation, again, not being raised Buddhist, I don't have all of that skill and experience. Meditation for me is mostly just a moment to sit and just allow my brain to go nuts. But just to be at a removed standpoint while it's going nuts and just be like, oh, look at you going crazy out there, just freaking out, brain. But then knowing that I am not my thoughts. Like, my thoughts are racing, they're going crazy, but I am actually in this removed standpoint observing. And as soon as I can like latch onto that, I am simply observing, that's when the meditation starts for me. And then I just watch things go past. And they're something that has nothing to do with me. I'm just observing. And that's where then like stuff starts to not click into place necessarily, but to clear itself out to where I get the understanding of, you know, I am at
whatever
peace.
it is, you know, like
it's transient, and I am not. And so that's the thoughts will come and go, but I am the thing that is up on the hill watching them go past. And so to have that separation, I think, is what the beginning of meditation is about, is to be able to pop away from what your brain is doing to recognize you are not that.
For sure. For sure. We have a minute and a half left of the stream, so if you liked this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button. And if you would like to see more, you know, videos like this one, you might want to subscribe and maybe even ring that bell on the off chance that YouTube actually notifies you when I go live. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Bye, guys. Take care of yourselves.